The Mesa Chamber of Commerce Inside Business podcast brings you a unique view of Mesa through its vibrant business community and the subjects that are important. The podcast is produced in the Mesa Chamber of Commerce Media Studio, sponsored by the University of Phoenix. Please enjoy this episode of the Mesa Chamber Inside Business podcast.
Good day and welcome to the Inside Business Podcast. This is Bob Nelson, the Director of Communications for the Mesa Chamber of Commerce, and I am here today with my very special guest for today's podcast. And we are going to talk about my favorite topic, which is food. Please welcome Tim Wickersheim from Schlotzsky's Canyon Beach. Tim, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me on.
This is going to be a good show. I can see it already. I can just feel it already.
I can sense it.
I can say electricity in the air. All right, Tim, tell me, Schlotzsky's, how'd you come to Schlotzsky's? Like, are you a restaurant guy for life, or did you just kind of decide one day you wanted to open a Schlotzsky's?
Well, I could go into the long history of it. Ever since my wife and I met, she had an aspiration to
open a Schlotzsky's?
Well, not a Schlotzsky's, but she is from the right state where Schlotzsky's was born.
Okay,
Texas,
which is Texas. Okay.
Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
But she had aspirations to, start a bakery or do a bakery type thing or some sort of restaurant. So from there, it was a someday type of thing, but the someday became a reality 3.5 years ago when she had her stint in the restaurant industry, got frustrated, and I saw the frustration, and so we thought maybe it's time to start exploring our own, and that's kind of how it came about.
So she was working for somebody else.
Yeah, she was working for somebody else.
It was like, this is not working for me.
Yeah, it was very frustrating because she was treating that business as if it was her own.
As you should. Yeah.
And just every time she wanted to move and do something that would help the business, it was take a few steps back and not allowed to do what they want to do. And so it's a long story, but it was one of the motivators that helped spur the someday into the reality.
Okay, so let's talk about you, because I know we were talking about a few things before we turned the record button on. So what's your background?
My background is I have a 30-year career in IT. Worked for a large IT systems operations integrator services company, managed service company. So that means basically we manage multiple customers, large data center environments, infrastructure, application, all that stuff. And so I've been on the build. I'm a builder, architect type.
Okay.
And they shifted me in a direction where I don't, it just didn't make sense from a delivery perspective. And I want to get back in building, and this was a natural thing for me. So I decided to make the transition.
So what you're telling me is the registers will always work at the slot.
Yes, the register. Well,
all the tech will always work.
Maybe. No, I'm on the other end right now.
Right now, you're the guy.
I'm talking to the managed service company that's on the other end. And,
but you know how to talk to them.
I do know how to talk.
You know how to talk to them. That's awesome. So talk to me about how you came to Schlotzsky's. So did you guys examine a bunch of different concepts? Have you always been a fan of Schlotzsky's, and it
always
just kind of fell into place?
Yeah, it was always a fan, and I've always had, like many of our customers, I found that there's like a following, like there's followers. It's kind of a cult following.
Well, as you know, I am, because I was talking about sandwiches.
Everybody knows a sandwich. They have their favorite, and they have a hard time going outside their favorite to try anything else that they have, which is kind of funny. But yeah,
I'm seen right now. I'm just telling everybody, I am seen right now.
Yeah. So yeah, it was just so I travel a lot, and when I travel around the country, a lot of times I would position myself near a Schlotzsky's so that I could eat dinner there multiple times, because I knew I couldn't find it where I'm at locally. Now they do have others here in the valley, but I live in Queen Creek, and it was way too far. But one day my wife had stopped at one and brought it home for dinner, and I was just like, wow, this makes sense, right? And it did, and I reached out and go ahead.
No, go ahead and finish.
So I had reached out initially to the brand, and they initially told me that there was not any opportunity, but then like 6 months later they were able to say that there is opportunity, and that's when it kept on going. And I've always had that motto of keep going until someone tells you no.
Sure.
And that's where I'm at today. That's where we're at.
So how big is Schlotzsky's? Like, are they nationwide? Are they regional? You know, because some chains are known for where they are in the Midwest or whatever.
Yeah, so they're owned by a finance company called Go-To Brands. So they own many different brands. They own Schlotzsky's is one of them. They own Jamba Juice.
Cinnabon too, right?
They own Cinnabon, which we are Cinnabon.
You guys do
as well.
Cinnabon
Yep,
too?
we do
All
the
right.
Cinnabon, yep.
That's it.
They own Moe's, Southwest Grill, McAllister's.
Okay.
So they have a
good portfolio.
They have a good portfolio, and they are Schlotzsky's is definitely national. It starts. You'll see a big concentration of them in the state of Texas, and it's kind of like it's like a little bomb went off in it, and then the scatters out, right? Okay. So as you get further away from Texas, the less of them you see. But
that makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah.
Okay, so let's shift a little bit. Let's talk about your location. Let's talk about Cannon Beach. What drew you to Cannon Beach?
Cannon Beach, we actually, before we had the idea of doing the Schlotzsky's, I saw the banners for Cannon Beach go up maybe 4 years ago. When it was nothing, it was just a dirt field.
Sure.
And looked into it more, and I just thought, wow, that's such a cool concept. And we've always liked that, and we, when we had the Schlotzsky's agreement, and we obviously searching for the location is the hardest part.
Yeah, location.
Yeah, and we initially had found a location off of Val Vista in the 202, right there by Dignity Health.
Oh yeah, I know exactly.
And we were so desperate to get into that one, but it was too small to fit it, and so it became we had to go back to the drawing board and search. And then several months later, our broker called and said, "Hey, this spot in Cannon Beach is available," and we were like, "Let's do it."
Now Cannon Beach is open, right? So give everybody the address real quick so they can remember.
So the address of our store is 4513 South Power Road.
Okay.
It's in Mesa, so basically on the corner, it's the southeast corner of Power and Warner. And so there's you can't really see Cannon Beach or what they call Cannon Beach is the site. Revel Surf is the surf lagoon,
the center point,
the centerpiece, right? So you cannot see that from Power Road at all.
Okay.
You can see the retail shops that surround it, which is our shop. So when you're driving down Power, you can see our sign up top on the buildings. But when you drive into it, it looks like a big giant construction zone, and you still can't see it.
Yeah,
and 90% of the people ask me, "Hey, what's going on over there?" And so I tell them what's going on, and I say, "Hey, have you gone over there and looked?" And no, we haven't even. So I tell them to walk over there, because when they walk over there, they're going to see a 6-7 foot wave being pushed down the whole lagoon, and the lagoon is. I'd like to say it's like a half a football field big.
Yeah.
And then there's pro surfers sitting there riding a tube and doing all different things. I've seen them take wakeboards where they hook it to a cable on the side and then it draws them in from the shoreline to go and do a big giant air off the wave. So they got some really cool stuff.
So they got some really cool stuff going on. Okay.
Yep.
So let's talk a little bit about, and you touched on, I think, one of the biggest challenges as an entrepreneur restaurateur, which is location, right?
Mm-hmm.
You were talking about how some of the challenges you had with that. What are some of the other challenges that you ran into as an entrepreneur trying to start a restaurant?
So there's a lot of key things, and I'm probably going to go off chart here because of
It's all good. We're all friends here.
So
our millions of listeners will be right with you.
I say it's a 3.5 journey to get to where we are today. A lot of that was location. Took a long time to find the location.
Yeah.
And it's scary because you're signing a lease agreement on a location. You have no idea how well it's going to be.
Right.
That was first challenge. Second challenge is working with the city to get the permitting process.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so when we took us about 2 months to get the architectural plans done, that was pretty easy. And then the city, we submitted all the city, and that took like 16 weeks to complete. And it was it was probably the longest pole in the tent that took to get passed.
Okay.
And then there was a lot of different discussions between the bank and the landlord that I felt were not necessary, but continued to delay the process. But that's the way the business rolls, right?
Sure.
And that's being first. So being a first-time business owner, that is already challenged. You're already challenged. The battle is uphill.
Yeah.
And they do everything to get you to. I felt like they do everything to get you to quit and back out.
Interesting.
Okay. But we'd stayed the course. There was multiple times where it felt like we were going to run out of money, and then we were able to get some side funds out of nowhere. Just poof, money just doesn't appear like that, but it did for us, and it was good, and kept us moving. And
your results may vary.
Yeah,
just make sure your
results may vary.
Your results may vary.
Yeah, but it definitely is a long process.
Yeah,
and if you got patience and perseverance, 10 years ago I probably would have backed out easily. I think I wanted. It was hard for me to get engaged with it. My wife has been the big pusher of all of it. She's been great. Even the location. If I go back to the location, I could say that it wasn't. Rent is high there, so when you're doing a lot of the finances and the money, it's like, you
some sticker shock.
Yeah, some sticker shock. Versus another location, and then I think at one point something just came over me and just said, because how wives are, right? They many times
careful.
Yeah, they like to say, "See, I told you so."
Ava could be listening to this. Careful.
No, she's a lot of the brains in the like when she sees something, and I know over the years it's taken me time to pick it up, but she definitely knows what she's looking at, and she knows what's the better part. So I just had to learn to swallow my pride and go with it. And so far she's batting 1,000. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I am looking around. I don't see any sandwiches here, but let's talk about the sandwiches.
I should have brought some.
I don't see any. I mean, I'm looking under this plant. I don't see any.
If I had one
that's
here,
okay.
you would see it,
that's okay. Sure. That's all right. I've been to one, so no. But talk about what makes Schlotzsky's different. We were talking about other sub shops, right?
Yeah.
We were mentioning that earlier. And there is a difference between Schlotzsky's and other sub shops. And talk a little bit about that.
The main difference is that the base of their sandwich is all sourdough bread. So we bake sourdough. They call it a muffaletta bun. It's a term that comes from the South. I think Louisiana. It's kind of a Southern Louisiana type term. But it's basically a round bun. I've heard some of our reviews have called it a hamburger bun, and it's not a hamburger bun for sure.
No,
but it's a sourdough based bun, and we also have a rye based bun.
The rye one is so good.
Well, the rye one is so good because it's also sourdough, right?
Yeah.
But it is the unique difference between us and many others is the sourdough for sure. Mm-hmm. Couple that with what I think is a huge boom in the industry for sourdough demand. Mm-hmm. I've seen large demand for sourdough. I'm hearing other businesses that are popping up in the area that are all sourdough based, right? It's just like a big boom, and that's why people love the product. Sourdough, the way we heat it, the sandwich is all deconstructed on one side of the oven, and then they send the deconstructed pieces through the oven, and on the other and the finishing side of the oven, they construct it back into what you see and what you eat, and it's just so good. It's all hot throughout the sandwich.
Right.
It's not just on the outside.
Right, which is absolutely fantastic. And so, talk about a couple of the choices they get. So you and I talked about the original because I love the original. What's in the original?
The original is basically sourdough bun. It's got cheddar on the bottom, and they put black olives in the cheddar, and then I believe it's mozzarella on the top part of the bun. Mm-hmm. And then in between, it's ham, a lot of ham, and then what we call a pre-stack, which
that's the other thing too. Portions are generous.
Yes, they're very generous, and so it's got ham, and then they throw what we call a pre-stack, which is Genoa salami and cotto.
Yeah,
and so
that's the magic.
That's the magic.
That's the magic right
like
there.
Everybody loved bacon. It just try some
that's good stuff,
salami
man.
and cotto, and it's excellent. So they throw that on the top. And then finish it off with lettuce, tomato, red onion, and mustard. And then they also have a deluxe, which is like double meat. I don't know if you can imagine eating the deluxe, but it's
massive.
Yeah, it's massive. It's good.
It's a good sandwich.
But that's the original.
So you're open. You guys
Yes.
just came open. Talk about what you're doing, like specials and things that you're doing to draw attention to yourselves. And that
Yeah, so obviously we had the grand opening last Thursday. And
which
that,
I missed.
Yeah, that's too bad. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad, because that day it was a massive amount of foot traffic that came through. More than we thought would be there.
That's fantastic. That's great.
We did over 850 of the little smalls. We were running a deal, $2.99 small original, and you could buy up to 10, and people were coming in buying the full max amount of 10.
Heck yeah, they were.
Yeah, and
smart.
And what made it chaotic is, they buy the 10, and then it's they can modify it to no olives, no onions, no this and that. And so if you looked at our oven, it was just plastered in small buns coming through and meat.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, it was crazy, but yeah, that was very good. We did the ribbon cutting that day, which I thought went really well. I was very impressed with the chamber and what they did, all the people that came, the sponsors and stuff. It was just I couldn't be more appreciative of the.
That's a plug for Jade Elise, the engineer, by the way. She was in charge of the ribbon cutting. She did a fantastic job.
Yeah, it was very good. Susan and others that came, it was just it was a great moment, great memory, kind of a cap off a milestone in our lives and our career. But yeah, so the other promotions we run standard Wednesdays today. We run buy one get one free pizza. So
we were talking about the pizza.
So that could be a pizza. It could be a pizza and a flatbread. It could be a pizza and a calzone. So anything in that category of pizza.
It's sort of Italian kind of. Okay.
Yeah. So it's buy one get one, and that brings a lot of people in. Because kids love pizza.
That pepperoni and that cheddar, man. You guys have good pepperoni and cheddar.
It's all good stuff. Yeah, the product that we get from the suppliers, it's all really good. I was going to say something. It was
okay, so that's Wednesday.
Wednesday is the buy one get one.
Okay.
The weekends, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, it's $5 after 5 on the pizzas.
Oh, hello.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Which is probably even better than the buy one get one.
That's a screaming deal.
Yeah, it's a screaming deal.
That's a great deal.
So, but the way I look at it, like these deals with the buy one get one, and then weekends $5 after 5. You know how Costco has their chicken?
Yeah.
We have our pizza.
Yeah.
Pizza is like at Schlotzsky's is like the Costco chicken.
Yeah.
It brings the people in.
So
and then
throw that address out now that people are interested because they just heard that. What's the address on that again?
4513 South Power Road, Mesa, Arizona 85212. I think it is.
All right, very good. And of course it's
Suite Unit 106.
Unit 106 at Schlotzskys.com. Is that?
Yeah, Schlotzskys.com. You can order online. You can order through DoorDash, Grubhub. The Uber Eats, we have an issue with them right now where they're having trouble getting our store online, so that should hopefully get resolved here in the next day or two, maybe the next week. Another big thing of our business is we cater as well.
Ah, very good.
I wanted to bring up the catering part because it's something that people
bring that sourdough to you.
Oh yeah, and we can bring we can bring chilled sandwiches, we can bring heated sandwiches, but we just got our first big catering order the other day, so
nice, congratulations. Yeah. That's fantastic.
So, but yeah, catering, we do that. Any event we'll deliver it to you and so forth. But yep.
Okay, I know we're running long, but I am going to ask you one more question.
Okay.
Tell me, because you're open now. Give me a memorable customer experience. Give me something that just brought a smile to your face.
Okay, so the best one. So on the grand opening day, we were running the VIP cards, which gave you buy one get one free sandwich for a year. Mm-hmm. So basically, every week it would load a promo on your rewards.
I missed this.
Yeah, I know. I think she got one.
Of course she did.
At least got one.
Oh well, that's all right. She deserves it.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, we weren't supposed to give them out till the day of the grand opening. That's what we were told.
Okay.
So had first 100 get there, they get them. And but this one couple came in. I remember her name, Joni, and I forget she was at the ribbon cutting. I think she was taking pictures back there. But she, I would say, is probably the biggest fan next to this other guy. That's probably one of our biggest fans. But she was the more memorable one because she had a long battle of lifelong ailments, cancer being one of them, and it just kind of brought a emotional pull to us. And I felt, and she was just talking about how much she loved Schlotzsky's, And at that point, I just said, you know what, I'm going to give her a card. I'm going to let her be the first to have the card. And so that's what we did. And that made it a very memorable moment. And now she comes back all the time, and she'll come back once a week to get her sandwich. And, and we just talk. And she's just a very, very nice couple. Her and her husband, they got a great family. She talks about her twin sister, and she said the twin looks exactly like her. And one day the sister came in, and my wife thought it was Joni. But that was a good experience for the customer. I can tell you a lot of bad ones too.
No. Let's keep it positive.
Yeah.
Let's keep it positive. Okay, so you're open. You're ready to go. We've got your phone number. One more time.
The address.
Address and phone number. Give me both.
It's 480-499-2772.
Okay, and you're on Uber Eats and what else?
We're on Uber Eats. We're going to be on Uber Eats, but we're on DoorDash primarily. You can go Schlotzskys.com and make an order. You can do the Schlotzsky's app, download the app, get the rewards. We can do that as well. You can even call the store and place your order over the phone. We have that. A lot of times online ordering, sometimes it'll blip and it won't be available to process it. And people will call the store and say, hey, I can't do the online order, so can I place the order over the phone? Sure, and we'll take it right over the phone.
And what are your hours?
Our hours right now are 7 to 10, 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. And the reason is because we do breakfast. Another highlight.
Uncover all these little hidden gems.
Yeah, so breakfast that people don't know.
Breakfast burritos?
Yeah, we do breakfast burritos. We do breakfast
Okay,
tacos.
so you're going to have to come back because we do have a breakfast burrito podcast.
Oh, really?
Where I have a partner. We eat the burrito. We talk about it live on the podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll set that up. We'll
right.
make that happen.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Tim, thanks so much for joining us today. It's been fun to talk to you about Schlotzsky's and sandwiches and Cannon Beach and all of this crazy. Did I get that right? Cannon Beach? Yeah, Cannon Beach and all the fun stuff that's happening. Excited to see you guys finally getting there and seeing people come in and visit. And anything else before we go?
I think you summed it up. I wanted to just say thank you. Appreciate everything that the Chamber's done for me and helping me promote my business. And thank you for inviting me here for the podcast. And look forward to doing another one maybe. On the burritos.
On the burritos. Let's do this, everybody. Let's get out there. Let's get some burritos and some of that sourdough, and let's go to town. This has been the Inside Business Podcast. My name is Bob Nelson. I'm the Director of Communications for the Mesa Chamber of Commerce. You, of course, listening to this podcast, can find other episodes of this podcast wherever fine podcasts are offered out there on the interwebs. And if you like, subscribe in one of those fine places where podcasts are available, and we will give you more of this kind of content. Thank you all for joining us today. Tim, one more time, thank you so much. Have a great afternoon, everybody. Take care.
Thank you.